You don't need to change your whole life overnight. In fact, most of the time, trying to do that only leads to more frustration, more burnout, and more disappointment. Why? Because big change isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small habits done quietly, consistently, and intentionally that shape who you become. You want to change your life? Start with your days, because your life is just a collection of your days, and your days are built on habits. Let me give you 6 small, simple habits that can completely shift the direction of your life, starting today, not next month, not on Monday, today. Habit 1, start your day without your phone. The moment you wake up and reach for your phone, you've already handed your attention to the world. You've allowed everyone else's agenda, noise, and anxiety to hijack your mindset. Take just 15 minutes in the morning to be with yourself. Sit in silence, breathe, think, plan, reflect. Those first few moments set the tone for how you show up and how strong you are in your own space. You wake up in the morning, eyes barely open, and your hand is already reaching for your phone. Notifications, messages, news, posts, 100 tiny voices pulling at your attention before you've even had a chance to take your first real breath of the day. Let's pause for a second and really think about what that's doing to you. When the first thing you see in the morning is someone else's highlight reel or a flood of demands from the outside world, you're no longer starting your day. You're stepping into everyone else's. You're reacting instead of creating. You're responding before you've even decided who you want to be that day. And that's a dangerous place to live from. One of the simplest but most powerful habits you can build is this. Don't touch your phone for the first 15 minutes of your morning. That's it, just 15 minutes. It's not some big dramatic overhaul. You don't have to meditate for an hour or run 5 miles. You just give yourself the gift of your own presence. Those first few minutes are sacred real estate. They're the moment your brain is most sensitive, most open, most programmable. Whatever you feed it will color how you feel, how you act, and what you believe for the rest of the day. So instead of chaos, feed it calm. Instead of comparison, give it clarity. Instead of checking the world, check in with yourself. Ask, how am I feeling today? What matters most right now? What kind of energy do I want to bring into the world? You don't need to have all the answers, but asking these questions puts you back in the driver's seat. And here's the truth. The person who controls their morning controls their life, because mornings are about momentum. If your day starts with intention, you're already 5 steps ahead of the version of you that used to run on autopilot. Now, I get it. The phone is tempting. It's right there. It's easy. It fills the silence. But that silence you're avoiding, that's often where your power is. That's where your real thoughts live, the ones you've been drowning in distractions. So tomorrow morning, don't scroll, don't swipe, don't let a screen be the first thing that sees your eyes. Instead, take those 15 minutes and make them yours. Sit with a coffee, breathe, stretch, write something down, stare out the window. It doesn't have to look perfect. It just has to be yours. Because the way you start your day doesn't just affect the next hour, it sets the tone for everything that follows. And when you own your morning, you stop letting life just happen to you. You begin to shape it, to lead it. And that's how change begins. Not with big moves, but with small moments, chosen with intention. 2, ask yourself one empowering question each day. There's one habit I wish everyone would adopt. It's so small, so simple, and yet it has the power to completely change the trajectory of your life. Every single day, ask yourself this question. What's one thing I can do today that my future self will thank me for? That's it, just one thing. Not 5, not 10, not a giant overhaul of your life. One single action, one intentional move forward. You see, the mistake so many of us make is thinking that big change requires big effort. That if you're going to make your life better, it has to be this overwhelming, dramatic transformation. But in reality, it's not the big moves that change your life. It's the small, consistent steps that compound over time. When you start your day with this question, you interrupt autopilot. You take yourself out of just getting through the day mode and into growth mode. You start living deliberately instead of reactively. And here's the magic. The answer to that question changes based on your season. Some days, the thing your future self will thank you for might be pushing through discomfort, making that awkward call, applying for the job, speaking your truth. Other days, it might be rest. It might be saying no. It might be finally giving yourself the space to breathe without guilt. The point isn't what you choose. It's that you choose something. And the moment you do, you begin to build a relationship with your future self. You begin to show up not just for the version of you that wants to feel good right now, but for the version of you that's trying to build something real. Because here's the truth. You already know what needs to be done. Deep down, you already know the habit, the conversation, the step you've been avoiding. This question is just the spotlight. It's the reminder to choose the action instead of the excuse. It's easy to get lost in the chaos of a full day. Work, messages, errands, social media. You blink and suddenly the day's over and you barely remember what you actually did for you. This habit anchors you. It keeps you focused on the bigger picture without getting overwhelmed by it. You don't have to build a legacy in one day. You just need to do one thing your future self will thank you for. Every great life is built on these small moments of self-respect. So next time you're about to move into your day, pause, ask the question, let it guide you. And when your head hits the pillow that night, you'll feel it. That quiet pride, that momentum, that whisper of, I moved forward today. And if you keep doing that day after day, your future self won't just thank you. They'll be built by you. 3, use the 10-minute rule to defeat procrastination. Procrastination is a liar, a smooth-talking one. It tells you that you'll feel more ready tomorrow, that the conditions aren't quite right today, that you need to wait for the perfect time. But here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need to be motivated to take action. You just need to start, and that's why the 10-minute rule is so powerful. The rule is simple. Whatever you're putting off, do it for just 10 minutes. That's it. Not an hour, not a full workout, not a marathon of productivity. Just 10 focused minutes. Why does this work? Because it bypasses the part of your brain that's addicted to comfort and dreads discomfort. The problem isn't the task itself, it's how your brain imagines the task. You think it's going to be long, hard, uncomfortable, so you avoid it. But starting shrinks it. It breaks the illusion, and once you begin, something interesting happens. You usually keep going because action creates momentum. Starting shifts your emotional state. It transforms you from someone who's stuck into someone who's moving. And movement is magnetic. It pulls you forward. Let's make this real. You've been avoiding going to the gym. The idea of a full hour workout feels like a mountain. So instead say, I'll go for 10 minutes. Get there, do a warm-up, move, stretch. Suddenly 10 minutes becomes 20, maybe 30. And even if it doesn't, you still showed up. You broke the cycle. You honored the promise to yourself. Or maybe it's a project, an email, a conversation. Don't tell yourself you have to finish it all. Just start it. Just write one sentence. Just open the document. Just pick up the phone and dial. We often underestimate how far small beginnings can take us. We wait for inspiration, not realizing that inspiration is often a result of action, not the cause of it. The 10-minute rule works because it's a kindness to yourself. It says, I won't force you to go all the way, but let's just take the first step. And that small shift in tone away from punishment and toward partnership is what makes habits stick. What you'll find is this, the hardest part is before you start. Once you're in it, you're already becoming the person you've been trying to get to. If you keep waiting to feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. But if you can make peace with just starting badly, awkwardly, imperfectly, you'll unlock the most underrated superpower of all, momentum. So today, take the thing you've been putting off and give it 10 minutes. No drama, no guilt, just a small focused window of effort. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to begin. And 10 minutes is all it takes to move from resistance to results. 4, change the way you speak to yourself. We all talk to ourselves. Even if you don't realize it, there's a constant conversation running in the background of your mind. And that voice, it's either building your future or quietly tearing it down. Most of us would never speak to a friend the way we speak to ourselves. You're not good enough. You'll never get it right. You're lazy. You'll fail again. And yet we hear those phrases over and over. And the more we hear them, the more we believe them. That's the thing about self-talk. It doesn't stay in your head. It shapes your choices, your relationships, your identity. But here's the shift. You don't have to wait for confidence to change your self-talk. You change your self-talk to build confidence. Every time you catch yourself thinking, I'm a mess, reframe it. I'm learning to manage things better. Instead of I'm so behind, try I'm working on catching up, one step at a time. Instead of I always screw this up, say I've struggled with this, but I'm improving. It's not about being fake or overly positive. It's about being fair. It's about giving yourself the same grace you would offer someone you love. Because if you're always tearing yourself down mentally, even your wins won't feel like wins. You'll discount progress, you'll miss growth, you'll become your own worst critic when what you really need is a coach. Think about someone who inspires you, someone strong, centered, powerful. Do you think they never have doubts? Of course they do, but they've trained their inner voice to be stronger than their fears. You can do that too. It starts with awareness. Listen to how you speak to yourself, especially when things go wrong. What stories do you tell? I always ruin everything. No one wants me. I'll never change. Pause. Question them. Replace them with something grounded in reality and compassion. I always ruin everything becomes I've made mistakes, but I've also learned from them. And when you make that shift consistently, something powerful happens. You stop just surviving your days and start owning them. You show up to conversations differently. You handle failure with more strength. You begin to treat yourself like someone worth showing up for. Because you are, the world will throw enough doubt your way, enough criticism, enough comparison. Don't become another source of that noise. Become your own ally. Become the voice in your head that says, we've got this. Let's try again. You're doing better than you think. And no, you won't always get it right. Some days your old habits will come back, but you'll be aware now, you'll notice. And that awareness, that's how change sticks. Your life rises or falls on the conversation you have with yourself. So make that conversation strong, make it kind, make it truthful. Because when you change your inner voice, you don't just change how you feel, you change what you believe you're capable of. And that belief becomes your reality. 5. Practice daily silence for mental clarity. There's something we rarely talk about, but it's often the invisible force holding us back. Waiting for permission. Waiting for someone to tell us it's okay to chase that dream. To make that move, to stop apologizing for wanting more, waiting for the right moment, the perfect approval, the green light from someone else before we choose ourselves. But here's the truth that will set you free. You don't need permission to become the person you were meant to be. Read that again. We're conditioned to believe we need validation before we act, that someone has to crown us ready or tell us we're good enough before we go after what we want. But the people who change their lives aren't waiting for permission. They decide. They decide that their growth matters, even if no one notices. They decide that their ideas have value, even if no one claps. They decide to believe in themselves, even if no one else understands it yet. And maybe that's where you are right now. Maybe you've been holding back, not because you're not capable, but because you're waiting for someone to notice, to choose you, to say, now's the time. But you don't need anyone to pick you. You can pick yourself. Start showing up like you've already been chosen, like the opportunity is already yours, not with arrogance, but with quiet confidence, with the understanding that your life belongs to you. No one else gets to set the terms. That business idea, you don't need to wait for someone to co-sign it. That new habit, you don't need everyone to understand why it matters to you. That version of you you're becoming, you don't need anyone's permission to evolve into them. Because truthfully, the people who wait for permission often never move. And the people who give themselves permission, they may not have it all figured out, but they're in motion. And motion creates clarity. It's okay if not everyone gets it. It's okay if not everyone believes in you yet. You don't need universal approval to make personal progress. Let go of the need to be liked or understood by everyone and give yourself something far more valuable: permission to grow anyway. You don't need permission to set boundaries. You don't need permission to protect your peace. You don't need permission to dream bigger, start smaller, or walk away from what doesn't serve you. You just need the courage to say, this is my life and I choose to build it. That's where confidence is born, not from praise or popularity, but from the quiet decision to stop waiting and start owning your story. So whatever you've been hesitating on, whatever you've been waiting for the right time to start, give yourself the green light. You're allowed, you are worthy, you are ready, and your next chapter, it's waiting for you to turn the page. 6, give value without keeping score. We all want to feel in control of our lives. We want progress, growth, fulfillment. But there's a habit that quietly kills all of that. And most people don't even realize they're doing it. It's the habit of comparison. We scroll through other people's wins, their highlight reels, their polished lives, and without meaning to, we start measuring our worth against theirs. Their pace becomes our pressure. Their success becomes our shame. And before we know it, we've stopped focusing on our own path because we're too busy watching everyone else walk theirs. But here's what most people forget. Comparison is built on illusion. You're not comparing your full life to someone else's. You're comparing your behind the scenes to their best of. Their curated, filtered, share-worthy moments. The applause, not the practice. The finished product, not the messy process. And that kind of comparison, it's not just unfair, it's toxic. It steals your energy, it clouds your vision, it makes you question things you were once proud of. Suddenly what you have doesn't feel like enough. Who you are doesn't feel like enough, not because anything changed, just because someone else posted something shinier. So what's the shift? Start competing with your past, not someone else's present. Make your progress the metric. Did you show up better today than you did last week? Did you stretch yourself even a little? Did you follow through when it would have been easier not to? That's real growth. Real success isn't about catching up to someone else. It's about becoming more of who you were meant to be. More intentional, more aligned, more courageous in the face of your own doubts. And when you catch yourself falling into that trap again, because it will happen, don't beat yourself up. Just gently bring the focus back to your journey, your values, your next step. Because when you get too wrapped up in what everyone else is doing, you start forgetting what you actually want, and nothing will make you feel more lost than chasing a life that wasn't even meant for you. Stay close to your purpose, even if it looks slower, even if it looks quieter, even if it's not going viral. You're not here to impress, you're here to express, to build a life that feels good on the inside, not just one that looks good on the outside. So if you need a reminder today, you're allowed to take your time. You're allowed to grow at your own pace. You're allowed to be proud of the unseen progress. Someone else's win doesn't take away from your worth. There is no race. There is no scoreboard. There's just you showing up, getting better, getting clearer, building something real. And that is more than enough.